So we are at the Mishnah towards the top of Daf Samach Gimel Amud Aleph. Zok the Mishnah. Lo yetzei ish, a person, a man that is, should not go out on Shabbos. Lo b'sayif, not with a sword. Lo b'keshes, not with a bow. Lo b'tris, and not with a shield. Lo b'olah, which the Gemara will explain what that is. Lo b'roimach, and not with a spear. All of these things are not in any way ornaments of a person, and therefore he goes out with them on Shabbos. He's carrying, as the Mishnah says, v'im yotza, if he goes out with them, chayev chatas. He's chayev chatas. Rabbi Eliezer argues and says, tachshitin hein loy. These are things that are considered to be ornaments for a man, that he walks out with them and they enhance his appearance, and therefore it's considered to be like a tachshit, which he's not going to be chayiv chatas for, but l'cha'ira, the gzeira of Chazal would apply to this. Chachamim say, no, you can't say that. Ein an el l'gnai. These are something that are considered to be only a gnai for a person. It's disgraceful for a person. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, v'kitetu charbaisam le'itim, and that when Mashiach comes, so the Navi says, and I will crush their swords into plowshares, v'chanisayseim limazmeiros, and your spears will be turned into mazmeiros, which are pruning shears, v'lo yisa goy goy cherev, and the goyim will not lift a sword one to another, v'lo yilmudoid mulchama, and they will not be accustomed to going into battle. So therefore the Chachamim say, you can't consider this to be something that beautifies and enhances the appearance of a man. It's something which is negative. Sagt the Mishnah weiter, biris tahayram, biris, which is a kind of a belt that's used to hold up the stockings of a woman, that's put on her legs. As we'll see in the Gemara, we had this already mentioned before. So it's tahayra, it's not susceptible to tumah, as the Gemara will explain. V'yaitzim ba b'Shabbos, and she's allowed to walk out with it on Shabbos. There's no concern that she will remove it in Rosh Hashanah to show it off. Kvalim, however, kvalim, which the Gemara will also explain, it's similar to biris. Biris is worn on one leg, kvalim are worn on two legs. We'll see in the Gemara. Tmeim ve'en yaitzim ben Shabbos. They are susceptible to tumah, and you may not walk out with them on Shabbos. Zok the Gemara, mai ba'olah. What is this olah? Answers the Gemara, kulfa. It's a metal club, which is some kind of a weapon amongst the other weapons mentioned in the Mishnah. So you have the machlokes in the Mishnah whether it may be worn on Shabbos in the Rosh Hashanah or not. So Rabbi Eliezer says that for a man to wear these weapons, they enhance his appearance. So therefore it's something which is a tachshit. It's like jewelry for the man. Tanya, so we learned in Abraisa, Omru loy le Rabbi Eliezer. They said to Rabbi Eliezer, if this is something which is a tachshit, it's like jewelry for a man, so why in the times of Mashiach will they be bottled? Will they have no use whatsoever? A man should continue wearing them then, just as for to enhance his appearance. So he answered them, because at that point these weapons will be totally unneeded. One nation will not lift a sword to another nation. Fragt the Gemara, okay, it won't be used in battle, but v'tehevi l'noi ba'alma. Let it be still used for a man, according to the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, that it enhances his appearance. So let him just wear it just to beautify himself. Omar Abaye, so Abaye responded, Midi dahava shrage betira. It would be like a person using a lamp in the middle of broad daylight, where the lamp has no use whatsoever. Same thing over here. Once it's in a time period where these weapons are not useful at all, so it doesn't adorn the person. There's nothing beautiful about it, and therefore, Lasad Lavai, Rabbi Eliezer agrees that it won't be used anymore. Sagt the Gemara, Oplige de Shmuel. This Braise here is arguing on Shmuel's opinion. Omar Shmuel, since Shmuel said, and we had this already before quoted in the Gemara, the only distinction that there is between the times of Mashiach and today is our subjugation to the nations of the world in the time of Golus. But not that the nature of the world will change. Battle, wars will continue even lost at Lavai. Shenemar, he learned it from the pasuk where it says, there will not cease to be the existence of a poor man in the land. So the same applies also to the other parts of nature. What does it say here in the Braise? That la'asad lavoi, there won't be any war anymore, there won't be any weapons necessary anymore. So this is arguing on what Shmuel said. And Misayel Rab Chia bar Abba. And what it says in this Braise, on the other hand, is a proof to what Rab Chia bar Abba said. Rab Chia bar Abba said, Kol hanavim lo nisnabu el limaysa Mashiach. These prophecies that we mentioned here in the Mishnah, Layisa Goel Goy Cherev, and mentioned in the Braise, this is talking about when Mashiach comes. That's what the prophecy is about. But in a later period of Olam Haba, Ayin Leirasa Lekimzu Lasecha, that even the Nevi'im didn't speak about. Nobody saw this besides the Eibishter himself. Others had a different version of the Braise, which will support Shmuel's opinion and not support Rab Chia bar Abba's opinion. Others say the opposite. They said to Rabbi Eliezer, if these weapons are tachshitin, are like jewelry for a man, so why, when Mashiach comes, will they be bottle? Will they not be useful anymore, as it says here in these psukim? He responded to them and said, no, I disagree. Also, when Mashiach comes, they won't be bottle. It says these psukim, so the Maharsha says these psukim would be referring to that later period of Olam Haba, but in Yemais HaMashiach, they're not going to be bottle. And Hainu de Shmuel, so according to this version, Rabbi Eliezer's response is like the opinion of Shmuel, Ein ben Olam Hazel Yemais HaMashiach el Shibud Malchis Bovad. Or Plige de Rab Chia bar Abba. And this is arguing, this version of the Braise argues on what Rab Chia bar Abba says, that even in the times of Yemais HaMashiach, there won't be any more battles and no more weapons needed. This is a famous Gemara, and the Rambam, of course, paskins, like the opinion of Shmuel, the last Perek of Sefer Ayad, and Hilchas Malachim, Hilchas Melech HaMashiach, and Perek Yud Beis, the Rambam paskins like Shmuel, that Ein ben Olam Hazel Yemais HaMashiach el Shibud Malchis Bulvad. The Rebbe speaks about this in many places, in one particular place, which is actually in next week's Parsha, Chelik Chav Zayin, Parshas B'chukoisai, Ba'arichas Gedola, and there the Rebbe makes the point that even though the Rambam paskins like Shmuel, but the Rambam's opinion is that within Yemais HaMashiach there'll be two time periods. In the beginning, it'll be like Shmuel said, there'll be no difference in the nature of the world. But in a later stage of Yemais HaMashiach, even before coming to Olam Haba, there will be, even according to the opinion of Shmuel or the Rambam, a change in nature of the world. There's a big arichas there in the Sikha, you can take a look. Sagt die Gemara weiter, Omalei Abaye le Rav Dimi. Abaye said to Rav Dimi, V'amri la le Rav Ivya. Others say that he spoke to Rav Ivya. Now, V'amri la, it was Rav Yosef that said le Rav Dimi. And V'amri la le Rav Ivya. Rav Yosef either said it to Rav Dimi or to Rav Ivya. V'amri la, others yet say that Abaye le Rav Yosef. Abaye said this directly to Rav Yosef. My time the Rabbi Eliezer, what's the reason of Rabbi Eliezer that he considers the weapons, that is, to be adornments for a person? The answer is because you see this in the pasuk. It says, Chagor charbecha al yareich, giboir hoitcha v'adorcha. Put your weapons on your waist, mighty man, and this is your honor and your splendor. So you see that for a mighty person, a man wants to show his strength, he puts the weapons on his waist. So that's why it's considered to be like jewelry for a man. Amalei Rav Kahana, Lamar Berei Rav Huna, so Rav Kahana, when he heard this interpretation, that this is the source of Rabbi Eliezer's opinion, so he said to Mar Berei Rav Huna, but Hai v'divrei Teireksiv. This pasuk is only being used as a metaphor for Divrei Torah. The entire, all the psukim there, as the Mashal points out in Tilim over there, is talking about Divrei Torah. It's just a mashal. Amalei, so Mar Berei Ravuna answered him, but ein mikra yaitzim midei pshutai. But there's a mashal here in this pasuk, and the mashal of the pasuk should not be taken out of its literal pshat, that we're talking about a mighty man that's putting on the weapons, and this is his honor and splendor. Amar Rav Kahana. So now Rav Kahana said as follows: Kadavinu bartamni sarishnin. When I was 18 years old, v'avagaminu lekula shas. I learned the entire shas, everything, all the halachas. But I did not know this fact, that the pshat in the pasuk, and in this particular pasuk here, should not be taken out of its literal pshat. Ad hashta. Until now, when I heard this from Mar Berei Rav Huna, that it's talking about it's Pashat the Pshat is the Raya, is the basis for what Rabbi Eliezer said. So the Gemara says, "My kamashmalon." What does he mean to teach us by telling us this fact that he didn't know that ein mikri yetzim de pshuta until this point? The ligmar inish v'hada lizbar. That first the person should learn all the halachas, go through everything, even if he doesn't know the reasons for everything and know the depth of everything behind everything, but still he should learn everything, and v'hada lizbar, and then he can come back to analyze and learn deeper. Where do we see this? Right over here. So Rav Kahana learned everything. Already when he was 18 years old, he knew everything. But the reason of Rabbi Eliezer, he didn't know. He didn't know that this pasuk is the source of Rabbi Eliezer because he thought it's only a metaphor for Torah. And still he continued learning everything. So that just teaches you that there's a value to learning Legirsa, going through everything, and then you can come back and learn deeper and see the deeper pshat. So now, since the Gemara brought up this pasuk, so the Gemara will now bring all kinds of drashes regarding learning Torah. Simin Zarus. There's a simin for what comes later in the Gemara, the word Zarus, which is a simin to the various names over here of the Tanoim, Amirayim, that is, they're going to speak on this subject. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, Amar Rabbi Lazar, Shnei Talmidei Chachamim hamechadedim zeh lezeh b'halacha. Two Talmidei Chachamim that learn together and sharpen one each other in halacha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu matzliach lehem, the Eibusher brings them success. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, v'hadorcha tzlach. V'hadorcha will bring you hatzlacha. So the Gemara darshans, al tikri v'hadorcha, don't read it v'hadorcha, ele v'chadatcha. The ones that sharpen each other. V'lo yoid, and not only do they have hatzlacha, ele sha'oilun ligdula. They get elevated to greatness. Shenemar tzlach rechav, and then it says rechav, you will ride high. Yachayil, I would think, this is even if they're learning Shalei Lishma. Talmud Laima, so the pasuk there continues and says, Al Dvar Emes, they're learning for the sake of truth. Yachalim Hegiz Daitoi, I would think if they're learning with Gaiva, then they would also have this Hatzlacha, Talmud Laima Va'anvat Tzedek, that they're learning with humility. Then they'll have the tzlacha. And if they do so, they'll be zeicha to what it says in the continuation of the pasuk, zeichen l'teira shenitna bimin. They'll be zeicha to teira that's given with the right hand. Shenemar, as the pasuk says there, v'teircha neirais yiminecha. That the teira of the awesome teira will be yiminecha, will be on your right hand. Rav Nachman by Yitzchak Kamar. Rav Nachman by Yitzchak interprets the meaning of the Yemin of Teira. That what does this refer to? Zeichen lidvarim shenemra b'mina shel Teira. They'll be zeichen to those things that it says regarding the right side of the Teira. Amar Rav bar Rav Shila, Amar Rav Yosef bar Chama, Amar Rav Sheishes. My dechsev. What's the pshat in this that it says? Oirech yamim b'mina, long life on the right side of Teira, and b'smaila oishav v'chavit. On the left side of Teira, there's riches and honor. Ella, so what's the pshat in this? Ella b'mina oirech yamim. Does this mean that on the right side of Teira there's only long life, ikke, that you have, but oishav v'chavit leke? But there's no riches and honor. If a person is zeicha to long life on the right side of Torah, which is stronger, for sure he should also have riches and honor. So what does this mean? Why are we dividing the two? Ella, therefore the Gemara says, the pshat in this pasuk is as follows. L'mayminin ba, those that are dealing with Torah with their right hand, in other words, stronger. Rashi has two pshatim in this. Either it means a person learns be'iyun, he focuses and to figure out all the details and works hard in understanding Torah, or it refers to a person that learns Torah l'shma. So then, he'll have long life, and most definitely, needless to say, he'll have riches and honor. Those that deal with Torah with their left hand, they don't learn Lishma, or they don't learn so deeply, they will have riches and honor, but a long life they will not be zeichet to. So this is the right of the Torah that refers to back to before to the two Talmidei Chachamim that sharpen one each other and learn Torah with humility. They'll be zeicha also to this as well. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, a similar thing he said. Shnei Talmidei Chachamim hanoichem zeh lezeh. Two Talmidei Chachamim that are pleasant one with each other. They're listening to one another in a pleasant manner. So then, v'halacha, when they learn halacha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu makshiv lahen. The Eibusher listens to them. Shenemar oz nidbru yirei Hashem v'goymer ishel reyeyu. They listen to one another, and then it says there in the pasuk vayakshiv Hashem vayishma, that the Eibusher listens to them. Ein dibur ela nachas. Dibur means that they speak pleasantly. Shenemar yad beir amim tachteinu. The Eibusher will humiliate the nations below you. So we see that dibur means to humiliate or to speak in a pleasant manner. Okay, so there's an interesting thing about this that the Rebbe brings in a Sikha here when we're talking about two Talmidei Chachamim that learn with each other. Before we were talking about two Talmidei Chachamim that sharpen one another, that each one challenges one the other, and with the svaras and the arguments that they're challenging one another, they sharpen one another and they bring out the truth of Torah, so there's the schar that they receive. Here we're talking about something else. Two Talmidei Chachamim that are pleasant one another. And the source that the Gemara brings is the pasuk, Oz nidbru yirei Hashem. So nidbru, the Gemara says, is that they're pleasant in each other. But the pasuk also says yirei Hashem, that they're yirei Hashem. And this is the same pasuk that's also brought in Pirkei Yavis regarding shnayim sheyoshvim va'iskim b'divrei Torah. That Oz nidbru yirei Hashem, referring to two people that learn Torah. And in that Mishnah in Pirkei Yavis, the Rebbe points out, it's brought right after it says, that sometimes you have one person that can swallow another person alive. And the Rebbe teaches, what does that mean? Sometimes you have two individuals that are learning together, but one person doesn't give space to the other person. He's not listening to him. He doesn't allow him his independence and pleasantly listen to his opinion, and your opinion and his opinion. They're not learning together. There's no bittul there. When two people learn and they're neichen zelazeh, there's bittul, they're yirei Hashem, and they're pleasant one another, they're listening to one another. One person doesn't just swallow the other opinion, not allowing him to express himself. That's when you get the bracha that it says over here, that the Eibusher listens to you when you daven. Now the Gemara brings the hemshach of that pasuk, l'chayshvei shemai. What does this refer to? L'chayshvei shemai, the ones that are thinking of Hashem's name. This refers to an individual that planned to do a mitzvah, and then something, it was out of his control and he couldn't do the mitzvah, and he didn't do the mitzvah. The Torah considers it as if he fulfilled the mitzvah. So another thing that we see regarding mitzvahs, one that fulfills the mitzvah k'maimara, meaning he does the mitzvah with all of the details, with every single detail of that's required in the fulfillment of the mitzvah. He will not hear negative news. Mitzvah, one that keeps the mitzvah meticulously, will not know of negative things. This individual, even if the Eibusher decreed something bad, Hu mevatla, he can come along and annul this decree. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, b'ashedvar melech shiltoin, that the words of the king are they reign and they are very powerful. But umi yoimeloi matasa, who could tell the Eibusher what to do? Samachlein, then the pasuk says, Shayme mitzvah leyeda davera, that the one that keeps a mitzvah meticulously will not know of anything evil. He's the individual that can tell the Eibusher what to do. Amar Abba, Amar Rab Shimon ben Lakish, going back to the subject of the Talmidei Chachamim that are learning one with another. Shnei Talmidei Chachamim ha'makshivim zelazeh balacha. Two Talmidei Chachamim that listen to one another, they teach one another, they explain one each other the things that they are learning. Ba'alacha, when they learn halacha. Kadosh Baruch Hu shemeya l'kailan. The Eibusher will listen to their voice. Shenemar, it says in the pasuk, hayesheves baganim. You sit in the garden, and Rashi says the garden means in the Bismedrish. Chaveirim makshivim, and the chaveirim listen to one another. So the way the Gemara darshans this is l'kailei chashmini. Then the Eibusher says, I will listen to your voice. V'meinais kain, if they're not going to do so, they don't teach each other. Goyim l'shchine shemistalekes mi Yisrael. They cause the shchine to be removed from amongst Yidden. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Brach doidi, my beloved runs away. V'dmei v'goymer. Amar Abba, Amar Rab Shimon ben Lakish, yet another statement he said regarding two Talmidei Chachamim that are learning with each other. So there are different styles and how Chavrusas, Talmidei Chachamim, learn with each other. They sharpen one another, they're pleasant to one another, they're explaining one another. Here's another one. So he said, Shnei Talmidei Chachamim hamadgilim zelazeh b'halacha. They gather, come together to learn, even when they don't have a teacher to teach them. So they're not going to be able to learn and understand the way a teacher would teach them, but they come and they nevertheless come and gather together to teach each other. HaKadosh Baruch Hu oyevan, the Eibusher loves them. Shenemar v'diglu alai ava. Your banner of love is upon us. So v'diglu, the Gemara Darshans also means that they gather each other, like when you have a banner that people gather to it. So they gather to learn Torah, and that brings the love of the Eibusher. Amar Rava, so Rava said, "V'hu the yadi tzurus d'shmaita." This is only if these are Talmidei Chachamim that even without learning by their teacher, they can understand and get the basic features of the Gemara that they're learning. So they're actually learning something. And also, this is only in a case, they don't have their teacher there in the city to go learn from him. Then they could learn with each other, and they try to do their best to learn with one another, and that's this. The Eibishter loves the fact that they're trying to do whatever they can on their own. A person that lends money to somebody that's in need is greater than someone that gives tzedakah, because he's embarrassed to accept the tzedakah, but when he borrows the money, that'll accept. And if you place money in a wallet, you place money for him to invest and be able to make a profit, is greater than all of them. He'll have no embarrassment in this whatsoever. Another statement, he said, if there is a Talmud Chacham, and he's someone that has a harsh personality, he takes revenge like a snake, gird him to your loins. In other words, stay close to him, connect to him, because he's a Talmud Chacham and you'll be able to learn from him. Chassid, if there's a person that's an Amaretz, you can't learn from him. He's a Chassid, he seems to be a pious individual. Don't live in his vicinity. You don't have to connect him, because you're not going to be able to learn anything from him. He doesn't know how to fulfill things properly, the mitzvahs, and how to teach you properly, and therefore you should rather connect to a Talmud Chacham that may have a harsh personality, because from him you'll be able to learn. Sagt der Gemara weiter, Rav Kana, Rav Shimon ben Lakish, Rav Asi, Rav Lakish, Rav Abba, Rav Shimon ben Lakish. Call a megadol kelev rabbe toch beise, a person that raises a wild dog in his house, meineya chesed. He prevents kindness. He can't invite guests and do the mitzvah achnas sorchim in his house. Shenamar, as the pasuk says, lamos, which is a dog, as the Gemara is about to say, mereyeyu chesed. You hold back your friends from being invited into your house to do kindness with them. Shekem beloshin Yavanis, in Greek, koiden lakelev lamos. A dog is a lamos. So therefore, that's what this is talking about over here. Rav Nachman by Yitzchak Kamar, Rav Nachman by Yitzchak says, Af peirik b'mena yiras shamayim. You also are throwing off of yourself the yoke of fear of heaven. Shenemar v'yiras shin dalad yud yazev. The fear of Hashem you leave go. The Gemara now shares an incident, a terrible incident that happened that illustrates this point. There was a woman that was pregnant. The Ayla lahu beisa lemeifa. She entered into a house and she was given permission to come and use somebody's oven to break bread in it. Novach bakalba. A dog barked at her. Is aker valda. The fetus was removed from its place in the womb. Amalam married the Beisa, so the Balabas, the house owner, says to her, don't be afraid of the dog. The Shkili Nive, I took out its sharp teeth, Shkilin Tufre, and I took off also its claws. Amra Le, she told him, Shkulati Vuseich, take your kindness, take your favors, Vishadya Chizri, and throw it on the thorns. Kvarnot Vlad, the damage has been done already. The fetus has already moved from its place. So here we see that if a person wants to do achnas sarchim, he shouldn't have a wild dog in his house. Omer Ravuna says, "My dichsiv." What's the pshat on this that it says in the pasuk? Smach bocha b'yaldesecha. Young man, be happy in your childhood. V'yetivcha lipcha b'mei bachrusecha, and you should have a glad heart in your young age. V'halech b'darkei lipcha, go in the ways of your heart. B'marei necha, what you see with your eyes. But v'day, you should know, for all of these, Hashem will bring you to judgment. What is this pasuk talking about? So one pshat is, Rav Huna said, At kan divrei yetzer hara. The pasuk here describing a person going after his heart and after his eyes, and then the Eibusher is going to punish him, or the Eibusher is going to judge him. This is going after the words of the yetzer hara. And then when the pasuk says, die, you should know, is the yetzer tov speaking, that the Eibusher is going to judge you. Shlokish Amar, Shlokish says, no, that's not what the pasuk means. Atkan ledivrei Torah. The first half of the pasuk is speaking about a person that is in his young age. He invests in learning Torah. Now, then the pasuk tells the person, all the Torah that you learned, you should know that in the end, you're going to be judged if you don't fulfill based on the amount of Torah that you know. So this is the conclusion of the sugya that primarily was discussing the inyan of limud Torah, the learning Torah b'chavrusa primarily. The interesting Gemara, various different kinds of relationships b'chavrusa that the Gemara described before, and some other things that came up along the way. Now we go back to the Mishnah. biris tahira. It said in the Mishnah that the biris is tahira, is not susceptible to tumah, and you're allowed to walk out with it into the Rishus Harabim. Right, that was the biris. But then there was the other thing that the Mishnah mentioned, which was kvalim are tmeim. They are susceptible to tumah. You're not allowed to walk out with them into the Rishus Harabim. So the Gemara is going to explain now what this is all about. Amar Rav Yehuda, biris zu etz ada. This biris is a band, an armband. So this is tired, it's not susceptible to tumah, and you can walk out with it on a Shabbos. Masav Rav Yosef, biris tahira, but a band is tired. V'yotzeba b'Shabbos, you can go out with it on a Shabbos. But v'ilu etz ada tmeihi, a band is tamei. As Rashi here brings in the pasuk by the war with Midyan and Parshas Matais, one of the things that's mentioned there that was tamei was an etz ada, a band. So how can we say that this biris, which is tahira, is this band? So the Gemara answers, Hachi ka'omar. This is what Rav Yosef meant to say, or this is what Rav Yehuda meant to say. Biris tachas etzada. This band, there's the band, the armband that a person wears, but over here, this is a band that women place on their legs, and just like the band that's placed on the arms, this is a band that's placed on the legs to hold up their stockings. So tachas etzada imedes. This is instead of and similar to the band that's placed on the arms. Yosef Rav and Rav Huna kamed Rav Yirmiyah. Now Rav and Rav Huna was sitting in front of Rav Yirmiyah. Yosef Rav Yirmiyah v'kamanamnim. Rav Yirmiyah was sitting and he was dozing off. Yosef Ravin v'ka'amar, and Ravin was sitting there as well, and he explained. Biris ba'achas. Biris is this band that's placed on the leg to hold up the stockings. It's placed on one leg. Kvalim b'shtayim. Kvalim in our Mishnah is placed on both legs to hold up the stockings. Okay, this is how he explained the difference. Amalei Rav Huna, so Rav Huna commented to him, Elu ve'elu b'shtayim. No, the pshat in our Mishnah is both the biris and the kvalim are placed on both legs to hold up the stockings. The only difference is umatilin shalsheles beinayim. In the case of the kvalim, they put chains connecting the two bands. V'nase kvalim. And that's when it becomes kvalim. It's chaining the woman. That as we'll see soon, what the point of chaining her is. The shalsheles shabai. It's because of this chain, mishavulei mana, that renders it into a vessel to become susceptible to tumah. In other words, the band itself is not considered to be a keli for the human being himself, that the person himself has a benefit of it. It's just to hold up the stockings, and therefore it's not a keli susceptible to tumah. But the kvalim that has a chain that connects them, that chain does serve the human being, as the Gemara will soon say, and therefore becomes susceptible to tumah. Now, if you're going to say, the Gemara asks a question. Okay? Is it these chains that make it considered to be a vessel? If you're telling me that the bands that hold up the stockings is not enough to consider it to be a keli. So even if you have it on both legs and there's a chain in between, why is just the fact that there's a chain there considered to be a keli for the human being itself? It's just to hold up the stockings. Now if you're going to say the reason is like what Rab Shmuel Bar Nachmani said, we had this in the Gemara before regarding the whole sugi of the bells. How do you know when you have something that makes noise in the metal that makes a sound? Shu tomei, that itself renders it to be a keli and it's susceptible to tomei. Shenema, because the pasuk says kol davar sheyave be'eish. The word davar is an extra word, and we darshan afilu dibur b'mashma. Even speech or something that makes a sound is also a keli that's susceptible to tomei. So over here as well, when you have this band that's placed on the legs and there's a chain, the chain makes a noise and therefore it's makabel tumah. So the Gemara says that can't be the reason. It's well understood what Rabbi Yochanan said by a bell, for example. So that's what the purpose of this is. You need it for the sound. So therefore that makes it into a keli. The kavet maisa. So it's doing what it's supposed to be doing as a keli. Hacha my maisa kavet. Over here, what purpose is there with this noise? The chains don't serve this purpose for the noise. That can't be what makes it into a keli. And for the Gemara, hachanami ka'ovid maise. Over here as well, these chains are serving a purpose. What is the purpose they serve? There was a mishpacha in Yerushalayim, shehoy psiyisein gasais. That they had their manner of walking was they walked with very, very wide steps. And the girls in the family, the besulim, would fall out, would come out at a young age. So therefore, what do they do to slow down their steps? Asalahem kvalim. So they made these chains, v'tilu shalsheles beineim, and they attached the chains to the two bands on their legs. Shalayu psiyasein gasais. So they shouldn't walk such wide footsteps. V'layu psuliseim noishreis. So the besulim will not fall out. That's the purpose of these shalshalois, of these chains. So the point is that the shalshalois serve a purpose for the people, for these girls, that their psulim shouldn't fall out. So once it's serving a purpose for the person, it's susceptible to tumah. Isabur Rav Yirmiyah heard this explanation. He woke up and Amalu, he said, Yasher, well said. V'chein Amar Rav Yochanan. This is what Rav Yochanan said. Now the Gemara brings another thing, b'negei to susceptibility to tumah. Also in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Ki yasser Rav Dimi Yom Rabbi Yochanan, where Rav Dimi came, so he said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Minayin la'orik kol shuhu shu tameh. How do we know that we have a woven material, just a kolshu, even a tiny little piece, is also susceptible to tumah? Now we had in the Gemara earlier a whole sugya in Perik B'Mem Adlikin about Chav Hei Chavav, somewhere over there, where the Gemara spoke about the minimum size of a piece of garment to be susceptible to tumah, and the minimum size was 3 by 3 finger breadths. But over here, we're not talking about the same case as that Gemara. There, it's talking about it when a person has a garment and there's a piece of that garment. So a piece of a garment, if you cut off, if you have a leftover from a piece of a garment, so then the minimum size is 3 by 3 finger breadths. Over here we're talking about a person that has a woven piece, not part of a garment. A woven piece, even a small kol shuhu, is also going to be susceptible to tumah. Where do we learn this from? Mitzitz. From the tzitz, which is susceptible to tumah, it's smaller than the size of 3 by 3 finger breadths, and it's still susceptible to tumah. Abaye, so Abaye said to Rav Dimi, that said this in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, the tzitz areku. The tzitz is a material that it's a woven material. Va'atanye tzitz kimintas shel zohov. The tzitz was a metal, a gold plate. Its width was 2 finger breadths. It's worn on the forehead and it goes from one ear to the other ear. And it's inscribed on it on 2 lines. Yutke Lemaila, the Abish's name of the 4 letters, Yutke Vavke and the top line. V'Kaidesh Lamed and Kaidesh, and the letter Lamed Lamata on the bottom line. The Abish's name was above and Kaidesh Lamed was on the bottom. Rabbi Eliezer Bar Yaisi says, I saw the tzitz that the Romans brought to the city of Rome. And Kodesh Lashem is actually written on one line, not the Abish's name on top and Kodesh Lamed on the bottom. Either way, what do we see from here? That the tzitz is not made of a woven material, it's a piece of gold. So how could you bring from here a raya, the negeya, to a small woven material that it's makabel tumah? And for the Gemara, Kisalik Rav Dimi leNarda, when Rav Dimi came to Narda, Shalach Lahu, he sent to them to say, Dvarim sha'amarti lechem ta'asem biyadi. This that I taught you before about the raya brought from tzitz, it's a mistake. Beram, however, Kach Amrim Mishum Rabbi Yochanan. This is what was said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. How do I know that even a small, tiny piece of jewelry is also susceptible to tumah mitzitz? From the tzitz, that's less than 3 finger breadths. There I see that even a small piece of jewelry is tumah. And now from where do I know that a small piece of woven material is also susceptible to tumah? Mi oi beged, from the extra word oi beged that's written in the pasuk. So it's a different limud. That's what Rabbi Eliezer, that's what Rabbi Yochanan said. Not the way he said it before, that the raya was from the tzitz. This Gemara quoted before, the machlokes b'negei to what the tzitz looked like. So it's interesting. Rabbi Eliezer Bar Yaisi says he was in Rome and he saw himself what the tzitz looked like. So if he himself saw it, how could the Tanakama argue with him and say that the tzitz is written differently? The Abish's name on the first line and the Kodesh Lamed on the second line. The Rishonim speak about this, And the Rebbe discusses this in a Sikha. And the Rebbe says the fact that he saw it in Rome is not going to be a raya. It's possible that in the Beis HaMikdash there was the tzitz that the Kohen wore, and that was written the way it's described in the Tanna Kamma's opinion, the Eibish's name on the top and Kodesh Lamed at the bottom. And then there could be other tzitzes that they made that were similar to the tzitz that the Kohen wore, and over there was taki written Kodesh Lashem in one line. And that's what Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Yossi saw in Rome. That's what the Tanna Kamma held. Because they had a tradition that this is the way it was, that the Eibish's name was on top, they didn't change their tradition because of what he saw in Rome. It's possible that there was a different tzitz. It might not be so mustaver, that's the case, but the tradition, the Kabbalah that they had, that this is the way the tzitz was written, is a strong enough of a reason to say that what he saw in Rome must have been something else. The Rebbe says a similar thing also when you get to the Menorah. You know, in the gates of the city of Rome, there's the picture of the Menorah, and it's a round Menorah, and not the Menorah diagonal, the way Rashi and the Rambam describe the Menorah. So the Rebbe says, if we have a Kabbalah and a Messiah from the Rishonim, from Chazal, that the Menorah is shaped, the branches of the Menorah were diagonal and not round, the fact that this is the way it was in the Sha'ar Reim doesn't change anything. There was other Menorahs over there in the Beis HaMikdash as well that were similar to the Menorah, and those Menorahs were round, and that's the shape that they made on the Sha'ar Reim. But it doesn't change our tradition that we have, that the Menorahs are diagonal the way Rashi and the Rambam describe it. Okay, till here the Gemara for today. Everybody have a good Shabbos, and we'll continue Mitzvah Shem, Mitzvah Shabbos with the Hemshech of the Gemara. Good Shabbos, and Atzlacha Rabbah, and good news, and Refuahs and Yeshuas for everybody. We should see each other very soon. Good Shabbos.